Hey Bradley, you ready to go see Captain Marvel?
Shazam!
Not that Captain Marvel.
Uh-huh.
Shazam!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Echo Chamber Reviews. Today, we'll be reviewing Captain Marvel, the latest Marvel movie from Disney.
I can see your bursting with enthusiasm.
They can't all be good. Start with spoiler free.
Well, my initial thought was I have an intense, burning indifference towards it. I really don't care about it at all.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a fine movie. It's really it's so long and just like nothing happens. It's the longest origin story for a pager ever put to film.
I would agree with that, yes. Yes, it was very... All of the Marvel origin story beats were definitely all there.
So I know virtually nothing about Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
She apparently... I guess that would be spoilers. I don't know what to say without spoilers. It's a Marvel movie.
So Captain Marvel is a member of is a Kree soldier, which and appears to be on like a special task force, though I can't confirm. But she anyways goes on a mission, crashes on Earth in 1995, and then has a run-in with Shield and trying to stop the Skrull invasion. And then that's really like the whole thing. The CGI wasn't that great in a couple of spots.
No, and it was done by like 12 different companies, which is neat. I'd say it's exactly what people talk about when they say that every Marvel movie is the same.
Yeah.
It's completely cookie cutter. I kept waiting for there to be some kind of a twist. Is that really a spoiler? We're just gonna go with it.
Well,
I kept waiting for there to become some kind of a twist or some like turns in the story, and there was just nothing. It was just when we got to the third act, I was like, wait, we're already in the third act, and then it was just done.
the twist was there was no twist.
It was very predictable, really boring. I'd say if you're not a really hardcore Marvel movie fan, you could probably skip this one.
Yeah.
Because really,
I'm sure
any sort of spoilery backstory stuff, you could just read an article on BuzzFeed and probably get all the information you need from this movie. Because ultimately, this movie boils down to, look at that thing. That's a thing from another Marvel movie. That's a thing in a few years.
Yeah,
and that's the whole movie.
It's all set up and just showing. And I understand getting to know the character before the Avengers movie, but still.
But did we though? And so it's kind of all set up, no payoff. It's the definition of just like a filler movie.
Yeah,
it's in a really unfortunate spot being right before Avengers. It's the most meh movie I've ever watched.
No, because again, like I guess I don't know what other people will think, particularly in our friend group. But there are worse Marvel movies, but this one is very bland.
Yes. I don't know. What would you say is worse?
Age of Ultron.
Fair enough.
But
see, at least Age of Ultron has the advantage of at least having characters you like.
Yeah. But that one was worse. I think what? I'm an alcoholic, obviously.
Support our channel.
Also,
Give Bradley some help.
Every time, like, I started to, like, I don't know, get into it, I guess, just, like, just let it, because, I mean, you can get into bad movies and just, like, let it, like, flow over you, but every, like, 10 minutes there was, like, either a joke or just something where I'm, like, pulled out of it again. A lot.
It reminded me of, like, a Men in Black movie. I felt like it was more a Men in Black movie than it was.
No, and, like...
kind of that goofy, like, it was very, aliens from outer space.
And my favorite stuff in the movie was all the spy espionage stuff was probably my favorite stuff. in it.
But it's handled way more awkwardly than like Winter Soldier,
Yeah,
which is a really great
it
example
is
of a spy
handled-
espionage Marvel
Yes.
movie.
And I don't think it's terrible, and little kids would. I don't think it's just like don't go see it because it's bad, but it's also like you don't have to go see it because it's not that great either. It was very quippy, but not very good.
It was just like to
There
your
was-
point, like every time it started to pick up steam or like kind of start to like hint at being interesting, it would just grind to a halt.
Yeah, we were sitting in the front row, which may have contributed to the fact that the action scenes were very blurry, having to actually turn your head to watch everything.
But not even that. Like everything felt really out of focus. And again, I don't think it was just because we were in the front. That was a contributing factor.
Yeah.
But everything was really close up. Again, not just because we were close in proximity to the screen, but everything was really shot really close up, so that it didn't have to look interesting. You just see motion.
Yeah, there was a lot of
It's
emotion.
yeah.
There was a lot of blurriness in this film.
It's the definition of shaky cam. A good fight scene, you can clearly see all the
happening.
participants, you can see what's happening. Maybe there's some close-ups, but this one I felt like they were, in lieu of having an interesting or a good fight scene, would just have like motion in front of they would move the camera and they would move the person they'd whirl about, or they'd have lots of lights. And that was the other thing is there was a lot of flashing lights and they were really bright. They were hurting my eyes.
Oh, really? It was that bright for you?
I did not like, and it was just like all the time, like the whole screen just flashing
Well,
lights.
she has light powers. I mean, not actually,
Thanks.
but she blasts. Oh, shit. Energy bleams. I can speak, I swear. The character of Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers Veers, that was annoying as well. When I realized that that's what they were doing, is they got the last little section of her name tag, and I realized I'm like,
Spoilers. I think that about wraps it up. If you're super into Marvel movies, like you're probably gonna go see it anyway. Go see it. If you're just kind of casually into them, just wait and see Avengers. It's probably going to be a lot more interesting.
Everything will probably be explained that we need to know about Captain Marvel.
Again, like nothing happens. It's the world's longest backstory for a pager.
So spoilers. I was very upset, or not really upset, because I was upset that the Skrulls didn't do a bad thing, and that's like way in the end. But so, anyways, the Skrulls are revealed to just be like refugees from the Kree. And yes.
Go ahead.
And I know that like in all previous MCU material that the Kree are bad guys with Ronan the Accuser and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and any other things. The Kree
Okay, that was what I was going to ask.
The Kree have always been bad, but in the comics, the Kree have also always been bad, and also the Skrulls are bad. So I wish they both were bad because they made the Skrulls way too sympathetic in my opinion.
We should maybe back up a little bit.
Yes. Let's go back to the beginning. After she crashes on Earth, she is trying to discover one of the Earthlings, one of the humans, who, spoilers, turns out to be a Kree. That when she was on Earth and knew, before she lost her memories, had built like a light speed engine. Or something like that. I don't know.
Doesn't seem that impressive, I'm going to be honest. Light speed's kind of a prerequisite to intergalactic travel. Mm-hmm. So I guess they just use wormholes?
Is
that the implication?
That'd be my assumption with the jump points. Would be wormholes.
Okay.
But anyways, so that's the whole thing, is trying to get... The Kree are trying to get the light speed thing before the Skrulls do. And then obviously Nick Fury is the agent that like goes to apprehend Captain Marvel originally, and so they kind of team up once he realizes aliens are real. They go into the base where they find where the ship like should be, and they get some information on it, realizing that the science lady who made the Kree ship was the Lightspeed ship was at least writing in Kree. They escape.
Oh my gosh.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Fine.
I'm making fun of the plot of this movie.
Yeah, and so then they escape. I don't even remember how. They just kind of run away. Coulson lets them free.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart, a hand to hold on to.
And so they escape and they meet. They go to Louisiana where Carol Danvers, before she became all Kree-ish.
How does that work? Is their physiology just similar enough that...
Anyways, let me just continue on before I dive into
You're
the details.
boring me to tears. I just watched this dumb movie.
And so they go to Louisiana where they're Carol Danvers. They meet up with the Skrull, and he explained that the Skrulls are just refugees the whole time. And then at that point, they go try to get into space with this. They have a Skrull scientist build a spaceship. They like modify their existing like shield airplane.
Helicarrier
Yeah,
thing.
I guess.
Well, not a helicarrier, whatever. those
Pre
things
like
are.
Quinjet or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But anyways, they go into space to find Captain Marvel's Marvel's laboratory. Marvel turned out to be the human science lady who's not actually human, but a Kree who made the Lightspeed thing. And so
I was shocked.
they discovered that the power source was the Tesseract, the Space Stone.
Much like this movie. A lot of hot air.
And then the Skrulls were hiding in the laboratory because Captain Marvel had just realized he was fighting for the wrong side of the war. The Kree, led by
Basically just manipulated her, yeah.
led by Yonrog, discover
Is that his name?
Yonrog, yes,
Shame on you.
Jude Law's character.
In other words, aka Marvel's worst villain.
Yeah, even in the comics,
He is by far the worst.
He's appeared in
villain
like
Marvel
three.
has ever
He's
had.
appeared.
The least compelling.
He's appeared in like 3 Marvel comics too, or 3 runs. So he's not even that
But
popular.
like people complain about like
Ronan the Accuser. I think Ronan the Accuser is still worse in Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
I'd say they're about the same. At least Ron the Accuser looks a little bit cooler.
Yeah, fair enough. Not just a man.
Just a man with some blue. He just like
That bothered me too. Actually, is like some Kree apparently aren't blue, but most of them are.
yeah. What was the deal with that? And also, back to the fight scenes. The choreography in this movie fucking pissed me off. Because like I said, it's all like extreme close-ups, and there's just blue lights,
Yes, and
you can't tell what
yeah.
anything is.
yeah, I don't want to rip on like female superhero, because especially like with superheroes, women can beat up men, which is like a complaint. People always say that like I don't like I can't suspend my disbelief, but with the superhero, it's fine. I don't really care about that. But oh yes, we should go back. They discovered that
Side note.
Side note, actually, back to the main thing. Captain Marvel discovered that the Kree had been lying to her the whole time, and that she about how she had her powers and everything, and so she had ended up to keep it out of the hands of the Kree. For Marvel, blew up the energy core, and then absorbed it, and then absorbed the energy, and then that gave her Captain Marvel powers, and then she was transfused with
You mean a giant explosion gave someone superpowers?
No way.
How original and unique.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair, that is how she gets her powers.
Is it?
Yeah, she. It's. I don't know if it's like a spaceship core, but it is like a Kree energy thing, and then she does get like bonded with Kree DNA.
All right.
So it is fairly similar to the comics.
Doesn't make it any more compelling.
It doesn't. And so then, anyways, the whole fight scene is in the Kree spaceship that was housing the Skrull, just keeping the Tesseract away. They land on Earth. Captain Marvel goes to Super Saiyan levels or whatever. Overnight. That's what I was going to tell you in the car that I held on. I was about to lean over to you because she has like a power restrainer on her neck, and she breaks it off for the third act. And I was so close to leaning over to you and saying, "It's over 9,000." And anyways,
I could hear it over the thunderous applause of the sheep in the audience.
yeah, there was. She broke me. And she stops the accusers from bombing Earth. She kicks them off. She's gonna like help the Skrull find a home world, and that's where it ends. And then the end credit scene is the super spoilers, is the pager like turning off in the Avengers facility in that like grimy place we see in the Endgame trailer. Like, let's get it turned back on, and then they all turn around and Captain Marvel's there. It's like, where's Fury? And it ends.
Yep.
That's
It
about.
took you about 2 minutes to explain the entire plot of that movie.
Fun fact: before the cat was named Goose, it was named Chewie in the comics after Chewbacca. Obviously, now it's a reference to Top Gun.
Interesting, because they still could have done Chewie.
They still could have done Chewie.
Actually, Stargate Atlantis does Chewie, so apparently you can get away with it. Side note.
But they both they own Chewie.
No, I know, but I mean, apparently you don't have to own it either. I guess
Yeah.
because his name is technically Chewbacca, not Chewie.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's nothing wrong with female superheroes, but this movie is just,
Yes.
it's not interesting.
She was Captain Marvel was the most like snarky person on the face of the galaxy. They were trying to obviously go with like a twist on the quippy character. Because she was just like snarky, and it was really annoying. And I know literally no one else besides Jordan will get this, but she reminded me of way too much. So it's just like the most snarky, like I'm right all the time and I'm the greatest. Just
Is she
and
like that in the comics? I don't know.
She is hot-headed in the comics, and
So that was probably what they were going for.
Yes.
Well, speaking of Top Gun references, it was probably like that, where it's just like...
and so I understand.
cocky
Yes,
pilot.
to me it just came off as like just annoying. And I don't think it was anything with Brie Larson, because she was fine doing what she did. Everything she would say would be snark, just constant. Like she would never be serious, but not in like a fun quippy way. She would just be like, "Ha, got you with a thing," like, constantly.
And that, to your point, that's really more of the direction of the movie,
Yeah,
as
so-
opposed to...
The actor, no,
Because, like, she's really good in Room. I don't know if you've seen Room. Not The
Heard.
Room.
Yeah,
Room. That's obviously a very different tonal movie. It's about child
No.
abduction. She did a fine job, but it was just...
I think all the actors were fine in it. It's weird to see Nick Fury be so jolly.
The de-aging was not bad, though. I
No.
will say, of all the special effects, they did a really good job with the de-aging.
Yeah.
I didn't think it looked that Uncanny Valley.
No,
I thought it looked really good.
the worst in Uncanny Valley.
To be fair, though, Samuel L. Jackson looks pretty young still.
The worst Uncanny Valley for me was when they had the close-up of Captain Marvel's face when she was falling
yeah.
through the sky before she did her flight powers for the first time,
Yep.
and it's like a close-up of her face.
Very clearly video game quality. Like,
yes, and I'm like, why
facial
couldn't you could have just like
CG'd on the mask.
you could even had her wear the mask, do some CGI touch-ups, and just have the background, just do a green screen on it. That's what I immediately thought, is just just shoot her real face and just like tweak it a little bit.
It was fine, but a lot of it was either bad or just a blur fest of
Yeah,
the definition of shaky cam.
it also did seem to drag on for only being 2 hours.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it was only 2 hours. 2 hours and 4 minutes. Like, I didn't like hate it.
No, I don't want to sound like I hate it. It was just very much...
Yeah.
I could have gone my entire life without seeing it,
Yeah.
and it would have made no difference. Because, again, really the only reason to watch the movie is for the constant reminders that you're in 1995, and for the little backstories that they give to things like Nick Fury's eye,
Which I just did not like.
the pager, like... But again, those are like the... Take those away. Let's let it be a movie on its own merits outside of the MCU, and it's not a very good movie.
No, it's not a very good movie. It's not. It's just very
Because it
cookie-
relies, it's like Rogue One in that sense. It relies very heavily
On what you already
its
know.
source material, and not on being something new, on being something that you're very, very familiar with, and like, oh, I see that thing, I recognize that thing from the other thing.
Yeah.
It's not its own original movie.
No.
Where things like The Winter Soldier are different. They branch out
Yeah.
and they try different things. The darker, the espionage. This movie has a lot of like darker lighting for some reason.
there's
everything is really dark.
It is
and then
very
bright
dark.
flashes of light. And I don't know if it was just to get that contrast of her light powers, but a lot of the lighting is really dark.
Yeah.
And I don't usually notice lighting. That feels like a snobby film thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of the scenes are really darkly lit.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
No, I get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not lit.
The weirdest thing is Ben Mendelsohn, who played the leader of the.
Yeah, and he's a fine actor.
He is
but
a fine actor.
He's very much typecast, and
Yeah.
he's always like the same. That's kind of a personal thing, but I always just I don't know. It takes me out of things when I see Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, and like
And it's nothing against him. He's fine.
yes, but it is weird. What was the weirdest thing for me is just him and all that like that whole Skrull get up talking with his voice.
Yeah.
It really that threw me off.
I was kind of surprised how much practical effects they used with the Skrull. Kind of.
Yeah.
It depended. It was really only Ben Mendelsohn. Everyone else was pretty much CGI, I think. But that was the other thing is I was expecting them to do a lot more again with the espionage stuff.
Yeah.
Which you said was your favorite part, but is like
Not enough of it.
1/3 of the first act.
Yeah, no, it's like you get through like the introductory space thing, then you go to Earth, and there's like a half an hour of espionage stuff. Mm-hmm. And
With
then it
Nick
goes
Fury,
back-
who really Nick Fury is. Well, it's just Samuel L. Jackson.
yeah, and then it goes back into space stuff, and so it's that like bit there, which was my favorite part.
Yeah, and I'll echo that.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Mm-hmm. For people who don't know, the Skrull can shapeshift into anything, like perfectly replicate DNA and everything. I thought they would do more with that. Mm-hmm. There's like, 2 scenes of like betrayal with the shapeshift thing?
Yeah, there's not a lot of
And there's almost no build up to either of them. Even if that small group of Skrulls was nice people, maybe there was some bad ones.
yeah, there needs to be
Because you can't waste the interesting plot device.
of the Skrull because that's like a whole big run in the comics is the Secret War. Oh, maybe not Secret War. The Skrull invasion. That's what it is.
Yeah, Secret Wars is different.
Yes, it
I
is.
even know that.
Yes, I did, but yes, the Skrull invasion is like a whole big deal. Enough, the Skrull are all good. Well, why are they going to invade Earth and be like actually malicious?
If they were so innocent, why were they invading planets? Were they not invading planets? That seems really difficult to fake.
I mean, the
Because in the beginning, when they're killing off all the innocent people or whatever, well, they go to a planet to find an operative, to find a spy, and like retrieve him.
yeah, the Kree spy, they're
And-
trying to like extract him.
They realize it's an ambush. Carol Danvers' team,
Yep.
well, not her team, but the team she's a part of, realize it's an ambush and it's Kree. So like the opening sequence is that the Kree are taking over planets. So
The Skrull are taking over planets.
wow. But
Also,
but
the Kree are
the
taking-
Kree not doing that? Like, how does that work?
No.
because it's
And really, again, like I was saying earlier, what I would have wanted is both of them to be bad, and that they were playing mind games with Carol Danvers.
yes. Or again, it could have just been a small faction of them. That's like we don't want a part of
But
this anymore.
Ben Mendelsohn's character, also his character in the comics cannot shapeshift, but he is stronger and has like cybernetic
Super
enhancements.
Skrull.
He's not Super Skrull.
Oh.
That's different than what he is. But he is and so he's a general. He can't shapeshift, which is like it'd be like it's just like a genetic anomaly.
It's gotta suck.
Yeah, and because he's the only one who can't really do it. But then he's augmented themselves in other ways, and that's why he became a general. And so he's like very ruthless. They called him, what was his name?
Fuck if I
It's like
know.
Talus the Untamed is what his name was, or something like whatever his name was. But the Untamed was his like title.
What was the intelligence thing called? That was fucking dumb.
Central Intelligence.
No, it was called like the Supreme Intelligence.
The Supreme, same.
It's
Diff.
fucking dumb.
That's a thing in the comics.
It's
Though.
fucking dumb. It's the dumbest name ever.
Yes.
We're gonna have this really smart intelligence thing. What do we call it? Oh, how about the Supreme Intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very comic booky name.
Oh yeah.
And another thing I will say again, it's not a terrible movie. It's just a very movie.
Movie.
I don't care for the cosmic stuff. The more cosmic stuff I see, the more I just go, eh.
Yeah.
Also,
Because but what bothers me is like the Skrull Kree could have been like really one of the best things of the cosmic stuff because it could have been because Earth in the comics is like a border planet and like a tactical place to hold, so they both really want to control Earth for its position in the galaxy. Like I don't know if it's trade routes or what because I don't care that much, but I know that.
Here's the other thing.
Yes.
The final battle is boring as hell because it has the Superman problem of you have to have someone of equal power be the villain, and she fucking takes down an entire ship just by flying through it, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then you have to have a villain and or a challenge that's equal to that or greater than.
And there was not.
And there absolutely was not, because Jude Law, whatever the fuck his name is, his character, who's supposed to be the villain,
Yeah.
just immediately biffs it.
Yeah.
Like, he just gets pushed over.
Yeah.
And it's the least anticlimactic end to a movie ever. Because Carol goes over 9,000, which is fine. Because usually in the hero's journey or whatever, that would be like they discover the secret power within themselves.
Yeah.
And then they can face the greater evil.
Yeah.
But there is no greater evil.
The face.
She
Besides,
probably could have beat them without going over 9,000.
probably.
Because... And like... It's fine for her to be powerful.
Because she's
Because
going to have
it's the same thing with Superman. It's fine for him to be powerful, but then you have to find people and find challenges that match that.
She's going to fight Thanos, obviously.
Right. But again, that's way more interesting than her just like tapping a ship and it just explodes.
Yeah. But yes, it was all like just to introduce us to the character. But you know what's interesting is like Doctor Strange was really the movie Doctor Strange, not the character. The movie Doctor Strange was also to introduce us to the character, but I liked that one a lot more. It's more interesting. It was like
Yeah.
it was still very bland, but it was better still in my opinion. I'm trying to think. I've been thinking about it for a while. And I don't really know why.
Well, I think it's a couple things, because I was trying to think of this too, because there are a lot of Marvel movies that are kind of meh. Like that's a real thing. They tend to follow a formula. The formula works, so they're not going to stop doing it. But
I really hate watching. Part of it is I hate watching movies with full theaters because
cheer
because
don't cheer in movie theaters.
Yes.
It's not that good.
yeah, because like when you'll see it, there's like a tributes to Stan Lee right at the beginning, and everyone applauded and like, yes,
Who are you applauding
I'm
for?
like, go Stan Lee, but you don't need to. No one.
Like, it was really nice, but you just keep that to yourself and you go, that
like-
was nice.
Yeah, it
and
was.
You move on with your life.
It's not. There's no need to clap. It's not a clapping event. No.
Yeah, side tangent. Don't clap at a movie. Don't make audible noises. Just shut the fuck up
Yeah, you can have
and
a little
watch the
chuckle
damn movie. And if you enjoy it, when you leave the theater, you can say, that was really good.
Yeah.
And you can move on with your life. I don't care what you feel. I don't care. I'm a grumpy old man, and I don't give a shit anymore.
I mean, it's not as bad as the Age of Ultron experience because that was rough sitting in front of those people. But
There were a couple people that sat behind us and laughed very loud at anything that would be remotely considered a joke.
again, I don't want to like hate on it because it wasn't terrible, but I'll probably see it. My little brothers will probably watch it on Netflix, and I'll like catch half the movie. Is probably the only other time I'll ever see it again.
Yes, I'd say it's
Unless-
one of Marvel's most thoroughly whelming offerings.
Yes.
There's a lot of
Well-
other Marvel movies I'd watch first.
It doesn't matter. It's fine. Okay, I have to say it now. Whelmed and overwhelmed mean the same thing.
Do they?
They do.
All right.
And it was just...
I don't know who looks more like an asshole than I was underwhelmed. What is just like neutral?
There isn't one. You were whelmed, or if you're very whelmed, you were overwhelmed. But they mean the
I
same
don't
thing.
like. There needs to be a neutral stage. There's underwhelmed, there's overwhelmed, and then there's whelmed.
There should be whelmed, but whelmed was first, and it meant overwhelmed. But then people wanted to exaggerate even further, so they added the over to it. Welcome to etymology. It's probably just like a see once and forget movie. I mean, a lot of the Marvel movies are, and like Ant-Man and the Wasp was fine as well, but I'm never going to see that again either.
I thought that one was better than this.
No, I think
It
so
was
too.
more fun.
It was more
It
fun.
stuck to the fun.
Because that's the problem is this one didn't fully commit to be like just a fun ride because it wanted to do some stuff like be serious at times, but it also wanted to be a fun ride because the last besides like the Avengers movies, the last few Marvel movies have been pretty fun, particularly Thor in my opinion, Thor 3. And so they're trying to be more fun, but they also wanted to be serious. They tried to.
Well, yeah, that's
Walk
where you
the-
get like the script was trying to be fun, and then the lighting was really dark and moody, and it was just I don't know.
But like the plot broken down into its basic, like very basic points was pretty serious. Like
yeah.
you have to pick a tone and stick with it, and it can be dark and have a few funny moments. Because even like The Dark Knight has the "I'm not wearing hockey pads" joke, which is pretty great.
Remember good superhero movies?
Superman 2, 1979, I think.
So close, yet so far.
Again, like I said, the only time I would ever watch it again is if I catch it just like on accident, or if that one day I decided to do a, not one day because it would take longer than that, an MCU marathon. Though I don't know if I'd ever do that. Star Wars marathons have left me depressed.
No. No.
Well, we just triggered Jordan. We did a Star Wars marathon leading up to The Last Jedi, and I don't know, have we said on our channel our opinions on The Last Jedi?
I think twice. I think there's
Okay.
2 videos.
Well, then go watch those, and you will see that why Jordan is so triggered.
Yep, we went to the midnight premiere because we like Star Wars, and we left the midnight premiere not liking Star Wars.
But no, we wanted to do a video on this because we hate it, and lots of people ask specifically why, and it's too hard to summarize it all as one thing. So
Anyways, thank you for watching our review of Captain Marvel. Go see it if you're a big Marvel fan, or take your kids, it's fine. But there's no reason to hurry out and see it either.
yep.
Thank you. Oh, click the subscribe button if you're a real person, and not. If you're our friends, hopefully you've already subscribed. But click the bell icon and subscribe, and let's get this channel rolling, boys.
Mm-hmm.